Chief Financial Officer and State Fire Marshal Jimmy Patronis, as you begin to assess the damage from this storm, what is striking you at this point?
So look, the silver lining to this storm is Idalia went through a part of the state that was not heavily populated, and it was also a very fast moving storm. So it left the state of Florida quickly. It did not put the type of rain on the state of Florida like you would have had with a storm that moves, 8 miles per hour or 5 miles per hour. So at least some of those areas that were flooded by an Ian or an Irma weren't quite as compounding to the damages. So at least it's made it easier for our urban search and rescue teams to get out and survey the damage and go from door to door. There's 900 urban search and rescue first responders in the path of the storm, going from home to home as we speak right now.
I know you've talked about this in the past with other storms, but EV fires, what have you seen so far, and what do you want drivers to know?
So the concerns I've had, we've already had some fire reports of EVs in the Tampa Bay market. Again, those densely populated areas that were susceptible to storm surge. Now, if you reflect on Irma and Ian, both of those sucked the water out of Tampa Bay. With Idalia, it forced water into Tampa Bay. Specifically, it forced salt water. If the EVs were in the garage, you're going to have a potential catastrophic cascade of those batteries shorting out and fires that you cannot put out. So again, it's still a little bit of time left to see where that's going to happen. Those EVs typically they stop working, and then next thing you know, as they stop working, then they combust because the batteries short out.
Let's talk about insurance now. Florida lawmakers have admitted that insurance reforms that were passed recently might take years to stabilize the market and really see the impacts here. Victims of this storm don't have years to wait around for help. So is the Florida market as it stands today capable of meeting the needs of people filing claims for the system?
It is. So the one thing that I'm proud of is we learned something from every single one of our disasters. We learned changes to the insurance market after Andrew. We learned changes to the insurance market after the 4 storms in a 2-year period after 2005 and 2004. So this is no different. We have always leaned forward. The state of Florida right now is sitting in the best fiscal health it's ever been in the history of the state. Typically, we sit on about $4 billion in reserves. We're sitting on over $20 billion in reserves. The CAT fund is fully funded. So a number of those safety nets that are in place, or those systems, are working exactly how they're supposed to. Now, again, the silver lining to all this is this storm, Idalia, did not have a pathway through a densely populated area. Taylor County's got about 23,000 people in it. Fort Myers Beach had 23,000 people in it. So again, different levels of density, different levels of exposure. This is not a 750,000 claim storm like Hurricane Ian was a year ago.
What about for the next 3 months? We still have all the way through November for storm season. So can the insurance market handle more claims if we have potentially more storms this year?
Yes. So again, the systems are in place in order to handle a beating if the state gets one. Look, if we get another, Cat 4, Cat 5 storm, we will do what the state always does. We will bounce back. We will use the systems already in place, and we will work through those disasters. Now, in the case of Hurricane Ian, 750,000 claims. There's less than 125,000 claims still open. So again, you think of how complicated a claim is. This is somebody's home. This is, an investigation that has to take place. What damage was before the storm was at the house, if any? What damage was after the storm, and who is liable? So it's like an investigation to every single one of those. It takes a lot of manpower. It takes a lot of legwork in order to process each one of those claims. And oh, by the way, now you have to go out and secure a contractor, and you're fighting supply chain issues. You're dealing with inflation. So again, they're challenging times, some of which are outside of the control of the state of Florida. I can't control interest rates. I can't control inflation.